Sorry, Bart Zimny, design.
Hello, everyone. Dzień dobry. I'm really excited to be here, and thanks for inviting me. I'm Bart Zimny. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vorm, a design and technology consultancy firm. And what I'm going to talk about today is design for not everyday things. So why not? One more thing, guys, because I'm worried about the time, and I think I'm going to turn on the timer here. So why not? Why not everyday things? So I'm interpreting that threefold. So for some of you, these might be things that you just don't design on daily basis in your professional work. These might be interactions that just are not existing anymore. This might be things or principles that are not being used right now, or just for not right now anymore, or just about objects that are not being used by millions, so not for every day. So a little bit about me and my background. I'm Polish. I was born in Kraków, and that's the place where I run Vorm. Vorm is what we call a studio that works in the creation of products and services in a blurring field of physical and digital world. So what we exactly do is basically what you do. We design, we code, but we do that on, let's say, every level. So we start from the physical device, so it's industrial design. We do what's inside, so it's electronics, it's embedded software. We do interactions between that device and the computer, your phone. The apps that are in this phone, so the software, and everything was around, so communication, brand, and packaging. So we're like a full-service product design and development studio. So a little bit back, one step back into earlier background of mine, the beginning of my career, a design career. I started in fashion. That was like 13 years ago or something. I was studying fashion design in Krakow, and then some recruiter called me that she needs people to work in this new company that is it's growing rapidly, and we just need men to be there. We need somebody to design men's clothes. So I did. I went there. I started designing clothes. I was designing sports gear, jackets, and so on. That was a relatively small company these days. I was one of the 3 designers back there that were working on this stuff. Right now, 4F, you might know it, is one of the biggest producer of sports gear, sports stuff. But what's important here is that these days, it might change, maybe it's changed, I don't know, but these days, not only 4F, but all the companies in Poland worked in a very specific way for design. We were just, there were 2 work streams, two ways of designing stuff. One was just going to London or to New York, doing like huge shopping, bringing that back to Poland, applying our own branding, colors, sending that to China, and then we had it. Another stream was just to draw something in 2D, flat things in Corel Draw, send that to China, and then we had it. So nothing like experimenting, nothing like prototyping, nothing like testing. We were just sending that to China, and we had no control over it. there was no research. The only research that we had was from marketing, and marketing was saying that the most important stuff for the customer is to know if they like the clothes, so style. The second thing was the size, so they wanted to fit that. And then the third thing was quality, so you know, the material and how it was built and made. And for me, I had the opposite. So the most important thing for me was to touch it, to feel if I like it, if I will feel good in it, if that would be comfortable, if that would be soft or not. So totally different way. And I started exploring experience design those days, and learned that there is actually something like product design, industrial design, and experience design. So I dropped down, I dropped the job, learned a little bit, and slept into industrial design. Is there any industrial designer in the room? That's good. Oh, there's somebody in there. Is there any doctor in the room? Okay, so I started industrial design studies after quite time of working in fashion, and that was brilliant. I was experimenting, I was building, I was cracking, I was just doing really, really exciting stuff. Like here on the left picture, one of our assignments were to build as highest building, highest structure we're able to that will keep a person in it stable. So we have built that tower, and that's like the second floor. And I'm holding my friend who went from the bottom to the top of this tower. But what was most important was the thing that this tower is built out of cardboard and zip ties, nothing else. So that was amazing. That was amazing, and a really important thing. Basically, the most important, I think, from the perspective was ergonomy and affordance. I'm sure you know what that is. Do you? It's like, I'm going to talk today about very basic stuff. I wanted to remind you about some things that we're forgetting sometimes. So ergonomy is a field of study that is around people, around a person, that treats his comfort, safety, feelings, and everything around. And affordance is a thing where, looking at the object, we already know what to do with that. So, like, people tend to grab bars or push buttons or pull handlebars, and that's because of the history that we have. So, but what's important in here is that we're looking at the object, we already know what the possibilities are. And ours, Worm's and mine, simple process and simple principles of physical product design is right here. So what's the most important and what's the very first stuff is the cognitive. So the thing that we know what can we do with the object, what can we do with the interaction on the very beginning, where can we go, what can we do. Then a touch. So we're touching the object, we're grabbing it, and we can make an action. So we can pull it, we can push it, we can do whatever we want, and then we have a feedback. The object might be heavy, the gravity might work, it might move when you move it, and so on. But the feedback is the key. Do you know what that is? OK, so I think you know. I hope you know. This is a Rumble Pack, 1997. I remember that thing, playing GoldenEye on Nintendo 64 with that stuff on it. And that tiny object, powered by 2 AAA batteries, was giving a feedback, adding a feedback to the video game. That was amazing. That was really, I was like 16 or 15 and never seen anything like that before. So something digital was giving me a feedback. I know there were other games like bigger games, but that was consumer electronics. And I'm sure that this thing has revolutionized, in a way, consumer electronics. Because right now, every iPhone is giving you feedback. It's moving. So 20 years after that, after 1997, today, there is like millions of objects. AR, autonomous cars, voice assistants, IoT, CNN, BBC, B2B, and so on. But I think we're forgetting these principles that all of the industrial designers were always stick to. So Google Home, cognition, what can we do with that? Google, I don't know what my possibilities are. This Amazon Dash, there's no feedback. I don't know, I can click it, and then I will have like 20 tides delivered to my door. And then we have AR that doesn't giving anything except some pictures that I cannot touch, that cannot give me a feedback. Not even the thing on the screen, but the headset. I know these objects are not commodity yet, and there's a lot of work to do in this place. But still, I believe we're focusing too much on the digital experiences. And the trend like that is very strong in car industry. Tesla has disrupted everything in there with their self-driving car, with their interface, with their huge screen. But for me, it's shitty. I know there was a really great case last year about Tesla and their interaction in their new interface, but a lot of manufacturers are taking a lot from Tesla, applying that to their solutions, and they are failing because they want to be digital as much as possible, and that's not the way. It might work in Tesla where you have like autonomous driving, but Toyota, for example, that I bought last year, a new Toyota 2016. I went to the dealer shop. I wanted a car with like nice screen with all the features, and at the very end, I've chose the one without the digital media center. Why? Because of the feedback. There was no feedback. Everything was on the screen. You were able to touch the screen. You had to look on that, and after clicking, there was a huge lag, some fire animation with dragons were coming in, and I dropped that. I didn't want that. So I took the analog one, not analog, but less digital. So I doubt I cannot tell you more about stuff we do at Warm. So just a little bit about the device that we are working with in here, where the feedback and the physical interaction is the most important. This thing is something between the lock and the key and a key finder. It's waiting for its release, so that's all I can show you right now. But what's important about this device is that this object, I don't know if there is any pointer here. Okay, so that thing here is a button. We're putting a key here, and all the magic happens on the software side. So the software learns how you interact and operate with your key. It learns your movements, and it knows when you're locking the door. It knows your hand. It knows how and where are you holding that, and everything is happening automatically. And that was the most important thing where we were working on this device, as this is like a tiny gadget, I might say. It's going to Kickstarter in 3 months, so be prepared. It's going to be cheap and very cool, so beware. But all of the devices, not all, but a lot of the devices that we can see on the market, gadgets like that, are lacking that physical interaction and are not automatically at all. So what we wanted to do here is to, of course, this is the holy grail of interaction design, where there's no interface, user does not need to do anything, everything is transferring right away. But what we wanted to achieve, except that, is that you are having a feedback in this device. So when you lock the door, and when the device sends a signal to your app, then the app sends that to the server, the object is giving you a feedback, and feedback is a rumble, the feedback is a sound, and the feedback might be a sound. The feedback might be a blink of an LED. And I know it sounds easy. I know it sounds like it's very, very core thing, but I know like designers are forgetting about what's physical and focusing on digital. So as in my previous example of our design, everything was happening on the software side. It was a magic that nobody, as a user, would care, because he just needs to know if the door is locked or not. And this magic, of course, is another grail of connected devices. And what we can see right now, and what I believe that will happen, is what I call atomization of apps. So the apps are everywhere. Apps are in our fridge. Like Uber, it's in the fridge, it's in my computer, it's in my phone, it's everywhere. And it might be even broader. So I have the same experience, I have the same music on my phone when I enter the Uber, when I open my fridge. So we interpret that, industrial designers, I would say, interpret that as a soul that's inside the body. And the soul, the same exact soul, can transfer between the devices. And that's Internet of Things for us. And what we focus on is that device. that's a body. And we want that body to be trained and look and behave and interact in the similar way in every place, yeah? So it's not even, the logo in the interface is not enough. We want to have same feeling, same buttons, same chassis, and so on. So the soul as a software as a soul. So I'm thinking what might be the perfect physical and digital interface in the future. And I would say that I don't know. You probably don't know that as well. What I do know is that it has to have a physical feedback. At the very end, all of the apps, all of the services, all of the experiences that you're designing, that we are designing for the screen, are being placed in a body, in a computer that you're clicking, a mouse that you're clicking, a touchpad that you're clicking, or a phone that you're touching. So we cannot forget about this very basic and principles of physical interactions and the feedback that the body is giving. So what's next? I think as we design these things, we design the future, we're responsible for that. We're responsible for not going too deep into being so digital. So take these principles, and I hope you're going to use it in your future design work. Thank you.